Thank you. I'm Mr. Lehner, and welcome back to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza as we begin our new unit about data about us. As we take a look at the first unit in 1.1, we're going to take a look at frequency tables, how to construct a frequency table, and how are they going to be helpful to us in math. So let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look at an example problem up here. Okay, our set of data that we're going to take a look at has to deal with sports teams. So being that we're so close to the city, I decided to choose our Chicago sports teams up here. So we have the White Sox, which we all know are better than the Cubs. We have the Cubs on here, the Bulls, the Bears, and our champion, Stanley Cup champion, Blackhawks there on the bottom. And we're going to pretend a small survey was taken about students that chose their favorite team out of this choice of Chicago teams. And what we're going to do with this data is we're going to create a frequency table. Now, I have not given you the student votes here, but in a data set, you might have a table or numbers set up already on the side that has information ready for you. But let's take a look at our information. So when constructing our frequency table, you want to make sure that you have a title for your table so you know what the data is telling you about. So at the top, I put up here, favorite Chicago team. That tells me, okay, I understand what this table here is going to be about. Then each box I label the name of the sport team, my tally mark, and then frequency, which is how often it's happening. It's kind of similar to our tally mark. So then I list the Sox, Cubs, Bulls, Bears, and Blackhawks, and I made tally marks. So imagine we're in the classroom, and I'm asking each student, which team do you feel is your favorite? And I would just start tallying each tally for each vote as a student chooses a team. Then the frequency I put in the side. Now you might be asking yourself, well, Mr. Lehner, what's the point of having a tally and a frequency mark? Well, sometimes tallies can be really tough to read if there's a whole bunch of tallies in one spot. So a lot of times it's easier just to see a number. You might say, well, 3 and 3 is easy, but what happened if I had 303 tally marks? It might take you a long time to count it rather than seeing 303 on the side. So that's just another way for you to represent the data and to make your lives a little bit easier in here. So with looking at this frequency table, you can then make some observations based off the information in here. So even though there's no math questions underneath right now, I can look at this data set and say, oh wow, there's only one Cubs fan, which we all know is not really surprising because there's not too many Cubs fans around. But I could say that they were the lowest in this, at least in this group that we voted on. And I could see the Sox had 3 votes. So if I was comparing the Sox and the Cubs, I could say in this group that was surveyed, there were more Sox fans than there were Cubs fans looking at the data. I could look at the Bulls and the Bears and say that the same number of people that like the Bulls also like the Bears in this data set. And at the bottom, you could see the Blackhawks had 4. They had the most. So in looking at the frequency table, I could say the Blackhawks were the most popular Chicago team in this group of students that was surveyed. And again, this is just some small numbers in here, but these are some observations you can make just based off looking at the frequency table. Okay, best part of the video. Your turn to try this out. So I put a practice problem up on the front board. Now we're looking at favorite colors. We have green with 2, orange with 1, blue with 3, pink with 3, and purple with 3. So let's say I was quizzing some of the students, or I should say quiz, but having the students take a survey on favorite color, say like a first day of school activity. And I posted this up here. I would like you to create a frequency table. So go ahead and grab your pencil, grab a piece of paper, go ahead and pause this video, and we'll see what frequency table you came up with. Okay, hopefully you did not forget to label the frequency table. Give it a title. Your title might be different than mine. That's perfectly fine. I decided to title this just favorite color. You could put student's favorite color or my favorite colors, however you wanted to name it. You should have had a title for your first column with the category, a tally column, and a frequency column. And then you labeled each of the colors, and again, the order is okay right now. We're not going to worry about order. Do you have to go least to greatest? Just as long as you have your information down here, we can then make our observations. So green, you should have had 2 tallies with a frequency of 2, orange with 1 tally, frequency of 1, blue with 3 tallies with a frequency of 3, pink with 3 tallies with a frequency of 3, and purple with a frequency of 3. So again, if we're looking at this data, just think right now, what observations can you make just looking at our frequency table up here? What are some things that you notice? Oh, that was a good one. I like the one that you guys said out there. Yes, blue, pink, and purple all had the most. So these group right here, in our data set, blue, pink, and purple were the favorite colors. They all had the same amount of votes, and it was the highest amount of votes amongst the 5 colors. We also noticed that orange is the lowest, so orange was the least favorite in this data set, and then green also only had 2, so it wasn't as popular as blue, pink, or purple. And again, these data sets were very small data sets, but when you look at bigger data or frequency tables on a bigger level, you can find out a lot of information. Think about, say, like a lunch menu at school. If we were to have a survey of all the Hazel Green students, and we said, what would you like to have at lunch? You'd have a lot of data and say, wow, students really want pizza, or they'd really like an ice cream day. Yeah, I know I'd really like an ice cream day if they had one of those. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with these data sets, and as we work through these problems and these investigations, you will see how it will just be useful to a real life situation to help you out in this area of math with frequency tables. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. As always, we'll see you next time.